Today I'm flying American Airlines First Class from Philadelphia to Orlando, Florida. This isn't my first time flying first class, so I came into this experience with certain expectations. The question is simple. Is paying extra for first class really worth it? Over the next few minutes, I'm going to take you through my honest experience from boarding to landing and share what impressed me, what surprised me, and where I think American Airlines still has room to improve. One of the first perks of flying first class starts before you even sit down. Boarding early means no rushing for overhead bin space, no standing in a crowded aisle while everyone tries to organize their luggage, and I was able to walk onto the aircraft, find my seat, and settle in before the rest of the cabin filled up. It's a small detail, but it immediately makes the travel experience feel less stressful. Once I got settled, I was reminded why so many people enjoy first class. The seat was noticeably wider than economy, giving me plenty of personal space. I wasn't bumping elbows with anyone, my knees weren't pressed against the seat in front of me, and I didn't feel confined. Sometimes the greatest luxury isn't fancy food or expensive champagne. Sometimes it's simply having room to breathe. And if you've ever flown in the middle seat of a full flight, you know exactly what I mean. One feature I really appreciated was the storage compartment built right into the armrest. It gave me an easy place to keep my iPhone, my AirPods, and other small personal items without constantly digging through my bag or using the seat pocket. It is a small design feature, but it's thoughtful, practical, and it helped keep everything organized throughout the flight. The seat reclined comfortably, making it easy to relax during the flight. No, this wasn't one of those international live flat seats, but for a short domestic flight, it was definitely comfortable enough to kick back and enjoy the ride. As we prepared for takeoff, I started looking around the cabin to see what was included in the first class experience. That's when I noticed a few things were missing. Now, I understand that many travelers stream entertainment on their phones or tablets today, and airlines have shifted towards personal devices. Still, when you're paying for a premium cabin, I think it's reasonable to expect a few premium touches that help distinguish the experience. One feature that did stand out was the tray table. Compared to economy, it was much larger and much sturdier. Whether you're eating, working on a laptop, writing notes, or editing photos, having that extra workspace makes a noticeable difference. For business travelers especially, that's a feature you'll probably appreciate. As for the service, complimentary beverages were included, and I decided to enjoy a glass of wine. They also offer snacks, including chips. And since this was only a short flight from Philadelphia to Orlando, I wasn't expecting a full meal, so I didn't necessarily count that against the airline. However, I do think first class should feel just a little more premium. Maybe a nicer snack selection, a fresh dessert, or a few elevated options would make the passengers feel like they're getting more value for the upgrade. The flight itself was smooth, quiet, and comfortable. As I looked around, I also noticed that there weren't any blankets or headphones available. Again, on a short flight, I completely understand why those items may not be necessary, but they're still the types of details many travelers associate with premium cabins. They weren't all deal breakers for me, but they're examples of little touches that can make the overall experience feel more special. One thing I will say is that the atmosphere in the first class feels noticeably calmer, fewer people, less noise, more personal space. By the time we started our descent to Orlando, I actually felt refreshed instead of exhausted, and sometimes that's the real value you're paying for. After landing, another one of my favorite first class perks kicked in. Getting off the airplane first. If you've ever been seated near the back of the plane, you know how long it could take just to stand up, and watching row after row slowly gather their bags before you can even move gets old pretty quickly. Being able to grab my things and walk straight into the terminal was a surprisingly nice convenience. So, was American Airlines First Class worth it? For this particular flight from Philadelphia to Orlando, I'd say yes, but with a few caveats. If you're expecting luxury comparable to international first class, you may leave wanting more. But there aren't built-in televisions, there weren't magazines, no blankets or headphones on the flight. And while complimentary wine and snacks were appreciated, there wasn't anything that truly felt luxurious. But if your goal is comfort, extra space, less stress, boarding first, getting off the plane first, and arriving feeling relaxed, then I think this upgrade has value. For me, the biggest benefit wasn't the wine, it wasn't the snacks, it wasn't even the seat. It was having enough personal space to actually enjoy the journey. That alone changed the entire travel experience for me. And especially because I forgot to mention we had an hour delay in the beginning for a weather situation. So now me having all that space to myself while waiting in the cabin an hour really was a big perk for that moment. That alone changed the entire travel experience. And overall, I'd give American Airlines First Class on this route a 7.5 out of a 10. Comfortable? Absolutely. Convenient? Definitely. Luxury? Not quite. With just a few additional premium touches, I think this experience could easily become an 8.5 or even a 9 out of 10. Have you flown American Airlines First Class? Do you think an upgrade is worth the money, or would you rather save for your destination? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy honest travel reviews, lifestyle experiences, and seeing the journey exactly as it happens, make sure you subscribe to our editorial.